So we review once a week all of the overdose data from the previous week. We know from both research and experience that we want a tight window. Sometimes if there's a lot on the weekend or early in the week, we'll get contacted by law enforcement and we'll add some days to it. Most of the time, this works pretty well. I think what we discovered was when you're there at the point of overdose, sometimes they really don't remember what you said to them. So one of the reasons you give the packet is not just for them, but for their family, because those of you who have experienced Narcaning people, I mean, they're out of it. They really don't remember exactly what was said. But we also know if it gets too far away from the overdose itself as a point of intervention starts to get lost. Our memories fade very quickly. So we go over that data and we review who from the prior week do we need to do an extra follow-up from, or who have we heard from that we need to make sure we make contact with them. And then we plan our route, looking at the geography, what's the fastest way to make all of these calls. We visit every home. We hope that they're home. If they're not home, we do leave a resource packet, and we leave a handwritten note. That's something we learned along the way. We found that if we just left a business card or just circled our hotline number, they were calling the Addiction Services Council. When we left a handwritten note and a cell phone number, you go into their phone as Nan or Shauna. And so what we've seen is that particularly on the ones that come back around, that's what they remember. They call for Nan or Shauna. They don't call the Addiction Services Council. So I think it's an important learning for us about that added personalization that we didn't do in the beginning until we did it one day, quite frankly, because we didn't have any forms, and I never carry business cards, and we started leaving notes, and we got a different response. So I think it was said when we started this, we thought, we can't make it any worse, so we're just going to go out there and do it. And the first 2 weeks, we were trying to catch up from maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks prior. We didn't have much luck. Then I remember that third week, we knocked on this door, and they said that person wasn't home. And then from the back of their living room, some woman yelled, "But you can help me." And it was like, oh my gosh. And at that house, 3 people decided they wanted to get help. Now, they weren't the ones on our list. But I think let's not underestimate what genuine care and kindness means in our communities. So even if the person's not home, we're gathering information. Those of you who are in law enforcement, we're getting intel on who lives in this house, who might be important to them. Where did they overdose? People talk. I'm not kidding you. I cannot tell you what they tell you. And so trying to start to ascertain who is this person, not just the person. We're not just looking at him as an overdose survivor, but who is this person and what matters to them? The young man they brought to the station on Wednesday, we had talked to him on the phone because 2 weeks prior, he calls his mother every day. So we know if a guy calls his mother every day, his mother's going to be our leverage to get this guy somewhere. So you're constantly gathering. So when he gets to the station, we're like, "Oh, Anthony, I just talked to your mother." And you've got that sense of community. Now, Anthony was not in good shape, but Anthony was handcuffed. Those of you who think they're soft on crime in Coleraine. And the Narcan was dripping out of his nose, so we did do a little tissue. I'm not an EMS. I told him, if you stop breathing, you're going to die, because I don't do mouth to mouth. But we're always looking for that information. That's how we start our day. Some days we'll be out in the field 6, 8 hours. Other days it might not be that long because nobody's home. So then we go back and we're going back over our caseload, and law enforcement may leave, but us as the counselors are looking to see who do we need to get into treatment, who just called us, what's our next steps. So pretty straightforward day. And this information does come from the police department, so we don't have to wait on it for any kind of HIPAA release.